Imagine being married and thinking everything is solid, and then your wife gets on stage at a Romeo Santos concert and kisses him on the lips. Not a peck on the cheek, not a playful smooch. She went full send on a kiss on Romeo Santos. And now she's divorced. Today we're breaking down the story of Miriam Cruz, the woman who threw away her marriage for a 5-second fantasy. But this isn't just about one reckless decision. This highlights female hypergamy and the importance of setting boundaries and why men need to pay attention to red flags before it's too late. Let's get into it. Miriam Cruz, a woman who went to a Romeo Santos concert in Guatemala City. If you don't know, Romeo Santos has this thing where he brings female fans on stage for an intimate moment, and it's something that he always does. It's happened before, it'll happen again. But this time, it cost a woman her entire marriage. Now, what's crazy to me is that she honestly thought this was gonna be her moment to bag Romeo Santos. But has she not realized that this man is literally the king of bachata? And personally me, I'm a Romeo Santos fan. I also do a little bachata myself. Fucking trash. But I enjoy the music, so I could see where the allure is. But the fact that she honestly thought she'd be able to do this all the while knowing she had a husband says a lot more about her than herself. And ladies, we gotta be honest with ourselves, and we have to realize that most of you women, not all of you, right? Don't come at me in the comment section, but most of you women have the tendency to have this inclination to try and monkey branch onto something a lot higher. And we have to recognize this. This is fact. This is not fiction. Guys aren't making this up. We're not crazy. This is real, and this story proves it exactly. She gets on stage, and instead of just enjoying the moment, she took it way too far. She grabs Romeo Santos's face and kisses him on the lips. Now, keep in mind, this wasn't an accident. She chose to do this. And Romero, of course, classic Romero, he played it off like a pro. This man has been in the game too long to get caught slipping. He lets her have her little moment and moves on. But her husband, Pablo, he wasn't having it. Now, her ex-husband, Pablo, immediately filed for divorce after seeing the footage. In fact, amid the online uproar, Cruz's husband decided to break his silence. While many assumed the kiss alone led to the split, he clarified that the couple had been going through a couple things and dealing with unresolved issues before the concert. Quote, "The kiss with Romeo Santos was the straw that broke the camel's back," he explained, "but it wasn't the main reason for the divorce. There were other issues in the marriage leading up to this." And honestly, he did the right thing. Fellas, this is why it's so important to read and understand the red flags once you see them. Like, how many times do we get ourselves into relationships where we see these red flags and we willingly choose to ignore them because, you know, we have like one-itis, we feel like we're not gonna be able to find another woman, or whatever the case may be. But when you have more red flags than a Chinese communist parade, shout out to Coach Greg Adams for that one. But when you see that and you willingly choose to ignore it, you're only setting yourself up for situations like this. And listen, I'm not the type person who likes to, force or have a strong opinion on what my woman decides to wear. My opinion on that kind of stuff is she's a representation of me and vice versa. And if she's wearing something that crosses my boundaries, she's well in her right to wear that, but it's also in my right to walk away. And I could do that. And we all have the freedom to do those things. But when you feel as though you don't have a choice because you don't think you can obtain another woman or attract another woman, you end up in these situations where the disrespect becomes a lot more blatant. Now, Miriam, on the other hand, tried to defend herself with this lame ass excuse, saying that the moment was just excitement and it didn't mean anything. Really, ladies? Really? In a now deleted video, she states, "I acted without thinking and now I have to face the consequences. To my husband, I am truly sorry. This was never my intention, but I understand why he feels the way he does. I could only hope for forgiveness, even if it's not today." Forgiveness? It's so crazy how someone can expect forgiveness when you blatantly disrespect someone in such a way. Like, literally in grand fashion on what I would call a global stage. I mean, Romeo Santos is no slouch. He is a record-producing artist, and he has fans all over the globe. So when he throws a concert, you best believe there's gonna be hundreds of thousands of people, not only in the stands, but also watching as well. So when you go out of your way to take the opportunity of a moment like this, and turn it into a chance to try and monkey branch and, make your way with Romeo, it's insane. It's absurd, and to ask for forgiveness, in my personal opinion, is rather dumb. On top of that, not only did she give him the kiss On stage, she said she loved him. Check this out. Yeah, literally in Spanish, she says to the man, I love him. Now, if I'm wrong, somebody who speaks Spanish, let me know in the comments below. But as far as I know, te amo means I love you. That's all I'm saying. Cruz also expressed regret over how the incident affected her children, friends, and extended family, calling it a moment of weakness that will haunt me forever. But let's be real here. Even if it didn't mean anything, she wouldn't have done it in the first place. This wasn't some accidental happenstance. It's not like she slipped on stage and kissed him. She deliberately made this choice to kiss him. It was a blatant disrespect to her husband and her marriage. And Pablo understood that completely, and he did the right thing. Now this right here is a perfect example of something I always say. Most women, unfortunately, are optimists in relationships. What do I mean by that? If given the chance to upgrade, they will at least consider it. She might not act on it, but she might actually consider it, and it's something you need to be aware of. Now, was Miriam actually going to run off with Romeo Santos? No. But in her mind, in that moment, the possibility of something better was enough for her to act out of impulse. And honestly, what does that tell us? Ladies, you're not gonna like this, but this is the truth. Her husband wasn't the only man she truly wanted. He was the safe option, the stable option, the reliable option. But when she thought she had a shot, even for a split second, she threw all of that away. This is why men need to pay attention. There were probably warning signs before this, and we could tell just by what she's wearing, how she carried herself, how she dressed, how she behaved in social situations. Mind you, she's also an influencer, and how much validation she needed from other men. And let me be clear, personally speaking, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with a woman dressing how she wants, living her life, or enjoying a concert. But if her choices are disrespecting her man, then he has every right to walk away. And fellas, keep that in mind. And that's exactly what Pablo did. Listen, if a woman will cross your boundaries in small ways, you bet your ass that she's gonna cross your boundaries in big ways as well. If she seeks validation from other men in public, she's gonna seek it in private. If she's willing to disrespect you for a moment of attention, she never truly respected you in the first place. And that's the reality of it. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, women are gonna do what they wanna do, right? I'm not the type of person who tells guys to, never get in relationships, avoid women, because let's be frank, that's quite impossible. You're gonna do things in society, you're gonna run into women, you're gonna go to a job, you're gonna work, you're gonna interact with the woman there, you might interact with women in the gym. There's no avoiding it. So you might as well just be able to have the ability and capacity to discern and have better judgment and decide if this person is even worth being in your life. And even if you do make that case and you make that call and it's a good one, you also got to remember things change in the future as well. Nothing is ever set in stone. And the way I see it, personally, I think people in general are too much of a variable to ever put that amount of trust in them. That's not to say I have trust issues, I just don't give people that much credit, in my personal opinion. So when it comes to relationships, you better believe that you need to be able to double down and really, really, really pick the right person. And if it's too much for you, I also understand that as well. I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to go out of my way to constantly disseminate and, have character calls and try to assume how people actually are. But that's where we are in society today. That's the reality of these situations, but that's enough yapping from me. I want to hear from you in the comment section below. What do you think? Did Pablo make the right decision? You already know what I think, but I want to hear what you think. Let's make this a discussion. If you've watched this much and you like the video so far, do yourself a favor, hit the subscribe button. We're on our way to 10K, and I want you to be a part of this community so we can have a greater discussion. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below if you need consultations, energy boosts with no false or fake ingredients. Click the link below. Once again, make sure you share and subscribe and share this with a homie. I know I just said share before, but you know what I mean. Share it with a homie. If you find it valuable, talk to them about it. Let's make this a discussion. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Peace.